Cool. Big thing in life here is converting stuff, from one unit to the other, like feet to yards and all these unit conversions. Big old chart here that we're going to utilize. Let's do this stuff right here, and we'll see what they say. If things come out nasty, they say round to 2 decimal places. Please read the homework to see if that's how they want you to round as well. But, hey, a lot of these conversions you may know, but some of them you don't know. They say, hey, 9 feet is how many yards? Well, the hardest part of the problems today is going to find the right, conversion. Do you see right here, they have feet and yards, and 1 yard is 3 feet. Are you guys okay with that? That's this right here. This is 1 yard right here. It's 3 feet long also in that case. Just kind of weird. But here's how it works. Start with the number that they give you, and it's labeled 9 feet. Cool? And then, like I said, then what we'll do is we'll take it times this as a fraction, and here's what we need. Do you see that feet is like upstairs? If that was a fraction, that's upstairs. You need the feet downstairs in this fraction. So which one of these is feet, if you tell me? The orange guy or the green guy? Which one is feet? The orange guy. So I'm going to put 3 feet here, and then I'm going to put 1 yard here. And the reason why those labels are important is because if you got feet upstairs and feet downstairs, they cancel each other out. And now you just multiply these together. Top times top. What's 9 times 1? 9. And 1 times 3. That means in your calculator you need to take 9 divided by 3, which is how much, baby? 3 yards. 9 feet is 3 yards. 4 hours is to how many minutes? So if you don't know how many minutes are in an hour, I'm hoping that we do here in life, but there are 60 minutes in an hour, and I'm not quite even sure. Yep, it's right here in the time parameter. 1 minute equals 60. 1 hour equals 60 minutes is the right one. So I'm going to do 4 hours. That's the thing that they started with. And then I'm going to take it times this dude as a fraction. But what I have to have is, since hours is upstairs in this guy, I need hours to be downstairs to get them to cancel out. So there is 1 hour for every 60 minutes. You're just using these two numbers and putting one of them upstairs and one of them downstairs, depending on who you need to cancel out. So because hours was upstairs, I had to put hours downstairs to get them to cancel. And then, sorry, I don't want to cancel the 1. I want to cancel the hours. Then you just multiply across. You take 4 times 60 upstairs. If you need to punch that in, go for it. And then you multiply it downstairs. 1 times 1 is 1. And our final answer is left with that label of 240 minutes. Are you guys cool with what I'm doing with the upstairs, downstairs? Well, if you're not, let's try another one. Here's a conversion that I know a lot of people aren't sure. Miles into feet. There's a lot of feet in a mile, and if you don't quite remember, that's totally fine, but we'll go find it on our chart somewhere. Right here's where it's at. There is 5,280 feet in every mile, right? 5,280 feet in every mile. So let's see if you can set it up. 2.4 miles times, I'm going to make a fraction. Guess who's got to be downstairs? Miles. You know, because this guy's label is miles, this guy's label's got to be miles. Downstairs. Go to this conversion guy right here and put the number that's next to the word mile next to it. There is 1 mile right there. And upstairs is the other number of 5,280 feet. Are you guys with me on just taking this unit right here and putting whatever this label is? If he's upstairs, that guy's got to be downstairs. So this says you need to take 2.4 times 5,280. Let's do that. 2.4 times 5,280. And that's a big one, man. 12,672. Could you do this? Pause the video and see if you can find the conversion rate for fluid ounces. That's like liquid, you know, like there's things that are ounces like as a weight, and then there's fluid ounces into cups. Could you in the chart see if you can find how many fluid ounces in cups? See if you can find. So we found it right here in pink, and now let's set it up. This is 70 fluid ounces times, since fluid ounces is upstairs, I need fluid ounces to be downstairs to make things cancel. And then I go to my pink conversion right here. There are 8 fluid ounces in every 1 cup. And then you just multiply. So this first number is like always over 1, you know, to keep him a fraction. I'll kind of shoot that up so we can see it a little bit better. So I multiply the top times the top and get 70, and then the bottom times the bottom and get 8. And then my ounces, my fluid ounces canceled out. I just need to punch in 70 divided by 8. And they wanted it rounded to 2 decimal places, so we're going to leave that at 2 decimal places. 8.75 cups in that one. Okay? 2 more, man. Quarts into gallons. Quarts into gallons. Let's see if we can find that guy right here. He's a little triple down. It's this blue dude right here. 1 gallon is 4 quarts. And then they even have some more stuff about like 16 cups, but we just care about the gallons and quarts. You're just looking for these words in the same equation into this chart right here. So I'm going to erase a little bit so I have a little more room. 18 quarts. You can use a Q if you wanted to abbreviate it. Since quarts is upstairs, quarts needs to be downstairs. There is 4 quarts in 1 gallon. And the reason why you put 1 up and 1 down is so they cancel each other out. And that means that you've got 18 divided by 4 when you multiply that together. It's top times top over bottom times bottom. Punch it in, 18 divided by 4, and we'll do that as 4.5. So I'll let you try one of them without me. Can you change 50 ounces into pounds when I show you in green right here? Here's the conversion rate for pounds and ounces. Right there. Give it a shot with a neighbor. So I started with 50 ounces, and I'm going to take it times. I got to put ounces in the bottom. There are 16 ounces next to that word right there, so that's a 6 in 1 pound. Ounces cancel out because one's up and one's down. And so I got 50 over 16, which I'll punch that guy in. 50 divided by 16. So they want you to round that to 2 decimal places, right? So what that means is we are trying to figure out if this dude right here stays the same or if it needs to get rounded up. How? By looking at that guy next to him. Isn't he 5 or larger? So what should we do with that 2? Keep him or round him up? Round him up. So we'll put 13.13, right? 13.13. How did I know round to 2 decimal places? They told me in the instructions. Kind of weird. Was that the right number? Sorry. 3.13. It's my fault. I said 13.13. I was like, I don't think that sounded right. 3.13. Cool? Hey, I make mistakes just like everybody else. Cool? Thank you for correcting me. All good? Those are just like what I kind of call simple conversions. It's not a multiple step. And so are these, except for they go from U.S. to metric. Like the U.S. uses all the stuff like miles and feet and inches, and the rest of the world uses like meters and centimeters and all that stuff. You will always be provided the conversion rate right here in the question for those. You know, it's maybe not in the chart, but the question will have it inside of there. We just got to use it. So here's how we roll. Same thing. We're going to start with what they gave me, 519 miles. All right, 519 miles. That's what they gave me, and I'm going to take it times a fraction. The only thing is, where does miles need to go? Because here's some kilometers, here's some miles. Where do you want it? Upstairs or downstairs? It's got to be down because that's upstairs right now. So 0.6214 miles, whatever that number is, just goes down there, and then 1 kilometer is upstairs. The miles cancel, bing, bing. And I'm going to work down instead of work across. So I take the top times the top and get 519. And then the bottom is just this nasty little decimal boy. And now I punch that in. 519 divided by nasty boy. And let's see if they told us how to round. Right here in the instructions, round to 2 decimal places. Sorry, hit the wrong button. So what do you think? If I'm rounding to 2 decimal places, I really have to look to the 3rd decimal place to see if this 1 stays the same or rounds up. What would you like to do with this guy? Keep him or round him up? keep him, because that's not 5 or larger, right? You're always using 1 decimal place further than what they want you to round to see if you keep him the same or not. So 835.21, right? 835, sorry if I get a pen, 835.21. What's the label on it? The one that didn't get canceled out, kilometers, right? Kilometers. You might have to select those labels on your homework program on some questions, right? Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not there. How did I know it was kilometers? Because the miles canceled out. The miles canceled out, right? That's why we put 1 up and 1 down. So let's do another one of those dudes. 13 feet is what they want us to start with. They want us to change it into meters. So, okay, I'm going to put meters downstairs. Sorry. I said it wrong. I'm going to put feet downstairs. Why am I going to put feet downstairs? Because feet is upstairs. And I will put a 1 meter upstairs. Feet cancel. Peace out, Girl Scout. And if you don't want to like write this, if you're getting to the point where you can see what you're supposed to do with those numbers, it's going to be 13 divided by 3.1. You know, it's like if there's not much to multiply, that's fine. You can just punch that in, but it's 13 upstairs over 3.281. I'll punch that in. 13 divided by, lost it, 3.281. And we'll round that to 2 decimal places. And you tell your neighbor if you made it 3.96 or 3.97. 3.9. What do you think? 3.96 or 3.97? 96. I love it, man. And the label is meters, right? And the label is meters. So try the last one without me. Set your little fraction up with labels. Start with 4.5 gallons. I would use GAL instead of G, because G is for grams. You know, like gallons is GAL. Set this little fraction up. And check it with mine. Did you set it up correctly? And the big L is for liters. If gallons is upstairs in the original given stuff, you put gallons downstairs in the one that you got to multiply it by. Right? Even though like it's out of order, it doesn't always mean that this is like upstairs and this is downstairs. Gallons was upstairs, so you had to put the gallons downstairs in this guy. Cool. And this shows you need to take 4.5 times that nasty decimal. 4.5 times 3.785. See if you can round that to 2 decimal places properly. I don't know if homework's going to make you do 2 decimal places. Read the question. If it was 1 decimal place, you'd round it the way it's supposed to be rounded that way too. I got 17.03 liters. You okay with that? Those are 1 move, right? 1 move. I only got 2 questions left today. No, I take that back. I got 3 questions left today, right? There's a whole bunch on the sheet, but we're not going to do them all. But they're multi-steppers, right? Multi-steppers. And the labels are going to, like, save us, right? The labels are going to save us. So is this our next one here where it says how many hours are in a week? Is that what we got next? Right. I take that back. I do only have, well, I guess there's 2 questions here. So how many hours are in a week? Here's what I'll do. I'll just write these conversions for you. Like, they'll be provided in the question, but let's see if we can do it. So, like, 1 week is how many days? Do we know that? I pray to God we know that. How many days? 7. Again, some of these conversion rates are real basic, you know. But then, like, after that, we're trying to convert to hours, right? So I need, like, how many hours are in a day? How many hours are in a day, baby? 24 hours. If I could write, I'm sorry that I'm trying to hurry for you. I'll keep making mistakes. It's 1 day in that case. So here's how it rolls. This is the hardest part about it. Is how do I get started? How do I get started? As soon as I get started, I can do it. We're going to start with what they want you to convert it to. Would you be cool if it says how many hours are in a week? They want us to convert it into weeks. Are you with me with that? So start by writing 1 week. 1 week. 1 week. And then I'm just going to knock it down. You know, what's the next thing smaller than a week? Isn't it a day compared to like hours and seconds? Isn't like the day the next thing? So since weeks is upstairs, I'm going to put weeks downstairs to get them to cancel out. and the other one is days. There is 7 days in 1 week. Are you with me on that? But where am I trying to end up with? At hours, right? I'm trying to end at hours. I started with weeks. I had to sneak some days in there. You know, I had to sneak days in there. And then I want to get it into hours. Well, here's what we do. Boom, boom. Didn't those cancel already? We put those for a reason. Now I'm left with days. So I got to take it times another fraction. And guess who goes downstairs? Days. I want days to cancel out as well, because I'm trying to convert it to hours. So I'm just trying to start with whatever they were talking about, weeks, and get those to cancel, bring it down to days and get those to cancel. Isn't there 24 hours in 1 day? Are you with me on that? 24 hours in 1 day, and I'm getting my days to cancel out. And now I'm golden to multiply these together because I got to the label they were trying to get me to get to. They wanted me to get to hours. So we multiply all the stuff on top. 1 times 7 times 24. So if you punch that in, I'll let you do it. You got 168. And then that would be over 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. So that many hours. And this is a question that if you did it differently than this, it ain't hurting my feelings. People are like, well, I can just see, I just need to do this. Because like when it comes to hours and days and weeks, a lot of people know those conversion rates. But when they get a little more complicated, I highly suggest that you set up the fractions and do the canceling thing, you know, because I will be truthful with you. I am not good at this, you know, like see how many times I'm looking down to my answer sheet to make sure I'm doing it right. So I have to write them down. I have to cancel the labels. You know, that's me, and I'm pretty darn good at math. So here's how we'll do the next one. Only 2 more left. Steve has this. That's where we start. 2.3 gallons. Start with that. And they say, how many pints is that? All right. They give us all the conversion rates we need. That's handy. You won't have to do much looking on that chart because most of the questions have the conversions you need right there, just like this one. You see, those conversions are right there. So what I'm going to do is, since this guy is gallons and he's upstairs, let's take him times a fraction with a dude with gallons in it. Right? Doesn't that green box have gallons in it? And where should gallons go? Upstairs or downstairs? It's got to go downstairs. And there is 1 gallon right there, and the other label was cups, right? You see it was cups, and there is a 16 next to that number. You with me on that? And I'm going to piece out my gallons already. Gone, right? Done with those. But see, that converted us to cups. We don't want cups. We want to get it to pints. So I got to take it times that other dude. And you see how cups is upstairs now. So I need cups to go downstairs. So those will cancel each other out. And what's next to cups is a 2. And that will leave pints upstairs, which is what I want. And there's 1 pint in there. So you're just taking it one by one, using the labels to put one of them upstairs, one of them downstairs. One of them upstairs, one of them downstairs. And now we just multiply. Remember, the first number is like a fraction over 1, so you take all the top guys times each other. So 2.3 times 16 times 1. I don't need to do that. That's 36.8. But downstairs is 1 times 1 times 2, which is still a 2, right? You know, there's still like 1 times 1 times 2. Downstairs is still a 2. So we'll punch that in. 36.8 divided by 2, and I got 18.4. And could you tell me the label has to be pints, because he's the only one left, right? Pints. Wacky, man. Wacky, wacky, wacky. So just one more question, dog, and I'm skipping to 13, right? So I think you have a number 11 or 12 or something right above that. I'm skipping 12. 13 is the last one of the day. Are we cool with that? The one that's like this. A car is driving 90 kilometers per hour. Here in America, we don't talk like that. We do miles per hour kind of stuff, but they're doing 90 kilometers per hour. How far in meters does it travel in 3 seconds? So here's what we're going to start. We got a little double conversion. We have to do the kilometers to meters thing, and we got to do the hours to seconds thing, and it all works out with the label system. So we start with this guy. We start with the number they provided me, 90. But watch these labels, baby. It's 90 kilometers. Are you cool with km, right? Do you also see it says per hour? Per is the fraction bar. Downstairs goes 1 hour. Like, does that make sense here right there? That's 90 kilometers per 1 hour. Are you okay with that? Okay, so here's what we're going to do next. We're going to use these conversion rates that are over here, and watch this. I'm going to just rock this kilometers guy. I want to get rid of the kilometers. So doesn't this fraction right here have to have a kilometers downstairs, since kilometers is upstairs? And I'm using this guy right here. So there is 1 kilometer for every 1,000, so that's not 1,000, 1,000 meters. And I can automatically say peace out to kilometers. This is converting me into meters already, right? It's like, so I'm getting my meters goal. But then what I will also do is try to cancel out the hours, right? Remember how we had to change hours into seconds? Where is hours? Upstairs or downstairs? It's down. So another fraction I need has to have hours upstairs. So these guys will end up canceling out. You with me on that? I want the hours to go away because I want to change them into seconds. Cool? So hours, well, I can't go straight from hours to seconds because isn't there minutes in between there? Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to use this second conversion rate. 1 hour is to 60 minutes. You okay with that? It's weird. That's a tough one. So I'm going to cancel my hours. Peace out, Girl Scout. I got hours up and I got hours down. And I'm running out of room to go to the right, so I'm just going to keep going down here. But if you can go to the right, you can. I just need to get rid of the minutes. Maybe I don't run out of room. I got to get rid of the minutes. Isn't minutes downstairs, so I'm going to put minutes upstairs. And using my third conversion rate, 1 minute has 60 seconds. And if I cancel those out, do you believe the only 2 labels left are meters and seconds, which is what we wanted, right? So it's kind of weird, but if you trust in the label system, it'll get you where you need to go. Let's multiply all the stuff up top. It's 90 times 1,000, all right, times 1 times 1. And I'm going to put the label up there with it. 90,000 meters is upstairs. And then downstairs, it's 1 times 1 times 60 times 60. So I can forget about the ones. It's just 60 times 60. And there's 3,600 seconds. So the labels were still there. I'm going to clean that up into a better number by dividing those. So 90,000 divided by 3,600. See if that comes out nice. Excuse me. That comes out real nice. Right, so isn't that really like 25? But as a fraction, isn't it 25 over 1? Are you with me? Like 25 is 25 over 1. The reason why I put it that way is because this is meters and this is seconds downstairs. Like the labels are still there. So this car, when it was going 90 kilometers per hour, this is the same speed, 25 meters per second. That's fast, dude. You know, like 25 meters is basically like 80 feet. Can you imagine going 80 feet in a second? You know, it's like that car's moving. But the trick to this question is, as well as we got that, they didn't ask us how fast it's going per second. They wanted to know how fast would it go in 3 seconds. So guess what we got to do to this number? Take him times what? Take him times 3. So times 3, you might want to make a note of that. So when we take the quiz, you know, you're like, what the hell did I do to get to 75? We took him times 3, right? And we get 75 meters, right? And it's actually not meters per second, because if you're traveling 25 meters per second, how far would you go in 3 seconds? 75 meters. Cool? That's all we got. I know there's more questions on this worksheet. We're not doing them. So if we want to do some homework, let me know if you have questions.